Every watch brand loves to shout about innovation with every new release, but let's be honest, are they really innovating, or are they just slapping a new cog into an old movement and proclaiming it the second coming of horological greatness? Or maybe they're welding a random piece of metal to an existing doohickey and making the ding-dong go bong. Sure, high-end manufacturers sometimes blow our minds with something genuinely incredible, but with their multi-million-dollar R&D labs, would you expect anything less? Then there are the underdogs, the microbrands, with R&D budgets smaller than your weekly Audi grocery bill, but they still occasionally manage to surprise us with the unexpected. Speaking of grocery bills, big shout out to the powers to be for those inflation hikes, always a pleasure, Mr. and Mrs. Government. But how about something to cushion those inflation blues? I'll be giving away a watch worth $630, hint. Keep watching to find out how to enter. So when William Wolkov, a China-based French product and branding designer, decided to follow in his father's footsteps, his father being a luxury watch distributor, it wasn't just a case of keeping a family tradition going, but having one eye on the future of his family. Wolkov design began with a deeply personal question. What will I leave behind when I'm gone? It wasn't a fleeting thought, but a realisation of wanting to create something enduring for his child, a legacy. Not just a product lost in time, William envisioned a brand with history, something his child could one day take over. Watches, being timeless in nature, felt like the perfect symbol for this mission. They would become a lasting testament, something truly meaningful to stand the test of time. William decided if he was going to do this, why not use his vast experience in design and aim to shake things up and bring something genuinely fresh to the table. And let's be real, with the crowded world of watches, actually innovative is no small feat. Let's get one thing straight, this isn't my usual style, I'm a tool watch man, be it divers, field watches or aviation watches. But when I saw this advertised and read up on its unique features, I just knew I had to contact the company to inquire about showcasing it. The watch, fittingly named the Janus after the Roman god of duality, one face gazing into the past, the other to the future, perfectly embodies the two distinct personalities. Not quite the ultimate schizophrenic watch, but close enough. The case is unique in itself, pill-shaped and measuring 37mm across and 47mm at its longest point, minus the lugs, which we'll get back to. There's no getting away from it, this thing is thick, with 3 C's. Measuring a whopping 1.6mm, this ain't no dainty dress watch and has some serious wrist presence. Think Cartier Santos 100XL rather than Cartier Tank and you'll be along the right lines. The stainless steel case is finished in high polish, with 2 flat sheets of sapphire crystal sandwiching it all together. Yes, it's an absolute fingerprint magnet, but don't despair. If the finger grease look is not for you, Wolkov offers the Janus in either a black PVD coating or a dual chrome PVD. Or you could just try washing your hands with plenty of soap, 48 times a day. The dial and gubbins are where the watch really stands out. The Super 8 dial exudes sleek minimalist elegance infused with a hint of mystery and a dash of playfulness thanks to the oversized 8 prominently positioned at, you guessed it, 8 o'clock. Which, in my expert opinion, works much better than having a large 8 at 5 o'clock or at 2 o'clock, but hey, we all have preferences. This is the watch's cool collected persona, boasting a matte black finish and complemented by a crisp chrome markers with striking contrast. Just be mindful of the lighting, it can either enhance its charm or leave it shrouded in shadow. This is the Janus in serious mode, the dial for the boardrooms, formal dinners, and moments where confidence is key. Think of it as a tailored suit, understated yet undeniably stylish. And the large 8? A fancy pocket handkerchief. The hands are all about flair, but don't expect them to win any practicality awards. Stubby and almost comically wide. They look like they're having an identity crisis. The hour hand is decked out in shiny chrome, while the minute hand sulks in black, blending so much into the dial it might as well be hiding. The only thing that really stands out? A tiny skinny chrome stick that seems to be working overtime to make itself seen. Form over function, with a hint of drama. Flip the watch over and the Janus's second personality, called Super 12, hits you in the face with a playful mix of vintage elegance and modern eccentricity. First, the creamy white backdrop is adorned with a subtle diamond texture pattern that adds depth without becoming overwhelming. On top, a lone, oversized Roman numeral 12 stands proudly, as if it's the Grand Master of Time, while the rest of the dial rejects the traditional number system altogether. Instead, we get sharp, Art Deco-esque geometric slices radiating from the centre. Drawing your gaze to the edges of the watch, the symmetry is broken by a small second subdial at the bottom, a cool black accent that adds contrast and balance, apart from the actual hand, which seems to fade into total invisibility, except in the best of lights. A design decision, I'm sure. And if the 8 on the black side is a polished suit handkerchief, the subdial on this side is like a classy bow tie in a bold tuxedo. The hands are in similar vein to the dark side, however both are coated in black this time, and thankfully, they managed to fulfil the primary mission of telling the time far more effectively against the strikingly creamy white dial. This dial has attitude. It's for the kind of person who appreciates a bit of drama in their day, with a design that feels like a piece of modern art that you proudly display on your wrist. Inside, the Janus houses not 1, but 3 movements. Talk about overachieving. On the dark side, you've got the Peacock SL1701, an automatic movement vibrating away at 28,800 of those aforementioned vibrations per hour. Its 3.9mm profile probably sealed the deal, offering modern features like a 40-hour power reserve, but being slim enough to pack into a family of 5's holiday suitcase-like case. It's proudly Chinese and even powers the Atelier Ven perception, so it's got industry cred to back itself up in any horological manhood swinging exercise. On the light side, 2 Miyota quartz movements handle the hour, minute and ticking sub-seconds, a bold, albeit quirky choice, as the ticking subdial feels underwhelming compared to the potential for a sweeping second hand on the dark side. Still, Wolkov earns points for creativity and daring design decisions. Imagine the chaos of owning a dual-face watch but needing to wrestle with a spring bar tool every time you flip the watch and change the strap to correct the orientation. Cue flying spring bars and a 40-minute carpet search party. Wolkov, thankfully, had no time for that. Their solution? Utter brilliance. The lugs work like a mini clamp, sliding into position via a groove track. The fit is snug enough for security, but flexible enough for quick changes. You can swap out straps in seconds, but with just enough engineering trickery to leave you pondering, how did they do that? Great, you think, problem solved. But then again, thanks to Wolkov's clamp-style strap system, the watch requires an impressive amount of extra metal, resulting in a lug-to-lug distance that feels like it's measured in metres rather than millimetres. With my average-sized child's wrists, it's less of a snug fit and more like a circus act. Imagine a kid trying on a man's diver, and you've got the picture. Surprisingly, it's not uncomfortable, it's just a bit comical. Now, I do think there's hope for this lovable giant. Manufacturers of large watches like Panerai have long mastered the art of hiding the watch's bulk by curving the lugs to follow the wrist's natural contour. This subtle trick of ergonomics can make even the heftiest pieces sit with grace. Wolkov could easily adopt this strategy. A curved lug design could open up the Janus to more wearers and make it far more wearable regardless of wrist size. With just this little tweak, this bold statement piece could go from niche titan to everyday hero. So, Wolkov, if you're listening, throw in a little wrist-hugging curve, and you may have a winner. The Wolkov Janus is just as serious about price as it is time. At $630 before taxes, it's enough to make you check if that second dial also tracks your rapidly depleting bank account. But before you write it off as an indulgence, let's break down why it might actually deserve that hefty price tag. First, you're essentially getting not 1 but 2 watches wrapped in one beautifully engineered package. It's packing a high beat automatic movement alongside 2 quartz movements, all housed in a solid chunk of 316L stainless steel, not to mention those 2 dials, 2 sets of hands and 2 excellent quality straps. And to top it off with not 1 but 2 slices of sapphire crystal. Now I can't be the only one that wouldn't batter an eyelid at paying $315 for a basic Microbrand watch that does everything it can except any effort to not be considered a homage. But a homage that Janus is not. Wolkov didn't skimp on research and development here. This has more R&D behind it than most watch factories can dream of. They've nailed the originality in both aesthetic and engineering, and unfortunately that costs money. For a small watchmaker like Wolkov, they've got to pass on that bill. Does it feel more like a sub $500 watch? Sure. But at least Wolkov can justify the extra cost, which is more than you can say for some brands that will charge you that much for our logo and 50% of the internal organs. The Wolkov Janus is not for everyone, and that's part of the charm. It's unapologetically bold, unique, and a bit of a wrist filler. But for those who love their watches quirky, original and inventive without needing to sell a kidney, the Janus just might be perfect. It flaunts dual personalities, a strap system that's a mechanical marvel, and a design that's sure to turn heads. Sure, it's a bit eccentric, but for those who embrace the unconventional, this could be worth a consideration for your next conversation piece. Just make sure you hit the gym, skip leg day, skip chest day, and work solely on your watch arm. So, you've stayed until the end. Well done. I'll be giving away this Wolkov in a 2,500 subscribers special draw. To be entered into the draw, simply like this video, subscribe to the channel, and add a little comment on why you'd like it. That's it. Please like and subscribe.